In this video, we're going to be talking about Moodle assignments, what they are, and how to set them up. With Moodle assignments, students are able to upload files or submit online text into an online Dropbox in your course, like what you see here for this research paper assignment. Moodle assignments can be used when you want students to make a private submission that only you can see, not the other students. Assignments are great for submitting files like Word documents, PDFs, and PowerPoints. They're also great for submitting online text, such as a written journal reflection, or links to videos, websites, or other online files like Google Docs. All the directions and relevant files students will need for the assignment should be added to the activity. They don't need to be shared as separate files on the course page. This helps keep everything organized in one place. Then, when they're ready, your students can use this Dropbox to upload their file right here. This is what an assignment looks like when you click on it. To view what your students see, simply click on your profile picture, click Switch Role to, and select Student. This will show you what your students see for the assignment. To return to Teacher View, click your profile picture again, then click Return to My Normal Role. In the Teacher View, you can see how many students submitted to it, how many need grading, what the due date is, and more. In this example, we have some submissions we can look at. When you click on the grade button, Moodle will turn all the submissions into a PDF preview, so you don't have to download all the files. You can still download the files if you want, but it's not necessary. You are able to grade and even give feedback, which all goes into the gradebook. When you click Save and Show Next, it'll pull up the next student submission. So you can see that collecting and submitting assignments is very simple using Moodle. Let's take a brief moment to show you how to set up your own assignment link in Moodle. You can add as many assignments as you want to your Moodle course. The first step is turning on edit mode in the upper right-hand corner of your screen. You'll note that edit mode is turned on because you'll be able to add activities or resources to every week. Navigate to the week where you'd like to add an assignment and click Add an Activity or Resource. All the activities are listed in alphabetical order, and Assignment is the very top choice. Click on Assignment to add it to your course page. The settings should automatically open. Now we have an assignment we can edit. I'll click the Expand All link so I don't miss any of the settings. With Moodle 4 and onward, the word Assignment will show up above the activity on your course page, so you don't need to include it in the assignment name. However, we do recommend you give a descriptive name that includes the topic of the assignment. You can include relevant descriptive words to the activity name, like research paper or presentation slides, to indicate what students are submitting. We recommend you do not include due dates, times, or even completion requirements in the title, as there are other settings that are better suited to sharing that information, which we'll get to shortly. The description is where you can include the majority of the directions for the assignment. If you have the directions listed somewhere else, like in your syllabus, you can copy that text and paste those directions right into this description. You can also add videos to this section, so if you want to add video instructions, that can be very helpful for students. If you do use video, we encourage you to use a format that allows for closed captions. You can embed a YouTube video, or even record a video directly in Moodle. We have separate tutorials on how to create quick and easy videos in Moodle if you would like to learn more. The next text area is called Activity Instructions. Anything you put here will not appear until after the student clicks Add Submission. If you want students to see something only after beginning their submission, put it here. Do not put any information in this section that you want students to see before starting their assignment. Instead, use the description text box to display any text you want the students to see before they click Add Submission. You can also drag and drop or upload any files into the Additional File section for your students to download or open. The file attachment will appear underneath the assignment's description. This is great to use if you have a template file that you want them to work off of, or if there's an example file you want them to download as a reference. The Availability section is where you'll set the assignment due date and cutoff dates, if applicable. To keep students from working ahead, you can enable Allow Submissions from a specific date, so they can't submit before that date. You can also enable a due date that gives them a window of time to upload the file, after which they can still submit, but their submissions will be considered late. You may also enable a cutoff date, which prevents students from turning in files after that date. If you don't have the cutoff date enabled, they could submit to the assignment until the last day of class. However, when you go to grade it, that submission will show up as X amount of days late from the original due date. You can also add a time limit, which begins after students click Begin Assignment. This can be paired with the activity instructions to create timed assignments with instructions students don't see until the time limit begins. For example, the regular description might tell students they will need to write an essay on a provided topic within an hour. The activity instructions might include that specific essay prompt they need to respond to, which they will only see after clicking Begin Assignment, at which point the time limit would begin. The Submission Type section allows you to set how students complete the assignment. It is possible to have multiple submission options enabled or combined for an assignment. Alternatively, for offline or face-to-face assignments, you may choose to uncheck all of these submission options and only have the Moodle activity there for managing grades but not submissions. The online text setting allows students to type in and submit their assignments via a text box in Moodle. A word limit can be enabled for this setting, so this can be great for quick journal reflections. Students can also share links, either as plain text or by hyperlinking it. This can be used for sharing websites, links to Google Drive files, and more. Students can even record audio or video directly within Moodle using tools like the Moodle Multimedia Tool or Yuja. File submissions allow students to upload files, like Word documents or PowerPoint slides. You can limit the number of files students are allowed to upload, and you can place a restriction on the size of a file students may upload. We recommend keeping this setting at 200 megabytes. You can typically leave the feedback type section alone. Submission settings and group submission settings can also be left on default, unless you would like to set up an activity for group submissions, which we will discuss in a separate tutorial. Notifications can also be left as is. The copy leaks settings allow you to detect for plagiarism in your student submissions. To enable this feature, select Enable Copy Leaks. If you would like to learn more, we have a separate help document on using this tool. The grades section is where you assign a point value. The default point value is out of 100, but you can change the point value to be out of however many points the assignment is worth. We recommend you reference your syllabus for the exact value of the assignment in particular. Under Grading Method, Simple Direct Grading allows you to grade out of the point total for this activity. If you already have or want to create a grading guide or rubric in Moodle, you may select either of those options as the grading method. If you would like to learn more, we have separate help documents on creating rubrics and grading guides. Under Grade Category, you can use the drop-down menu to place the assignment within a specific grade category in your gradebook, such as assignments. If you don't have categories set up in your gradebook, you don't have to do this. Under Grade to Pass, you can enter the passing score if you require a passing grade for activity completion. Common Module Settings allows you to hide the activity on the course page if you are not ready for students to see it yet. You can also restrict access to this assignment according to various criteria. For example, you can make it so that students can't see this assignment until they have completed a specific previous assignment. We recommend you use restrictions sparingly. Activity completion allows you to specify criteria to indicate if a student has completed the activity. You can have students manually mark an activity as completed, or require specific criteria for it to be complete. You may want Moodle to only mark the activity as complete if the student has made a submission, or if they have received a grade. If you make changes to your instructions at a later time, you may want to check the box to send a content change notification so students know to revisit the assignment. When you're finished setting up the assignment, click Save and Return to Course. If you made your assignment hidden, but now you want to show it to students, simply click the 3 dots for Edit, then click Show. Now your Moodle assignment is all set and ready to accept submissions. Need more help? For technical support, contact the e-LIS support team by clicking the Get Help button at the top of any Moodle page. For e-LIS instructional design services, like lessons or course building, email idteam@oakland.edu.